using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter, though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But like his core personality and his weight.
If the opportunity presented itself against Floyd, you would have, though, even though you admire him so much and he's so great. But
Floyd, yeah, because
When Floyd Mayweather finally demanded a bout in 2026, Terence Crawford answered favorably, stating that he is prepared to end the argument over who is better. Despite being more than 10 years older, Mayweather called the fight because he was upset about the comparison that boxing fans were drawing between him and Crawford.
everybody played the part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course he is.
What do you...
Crawford was questioned about boxing fans' desire for him to face Floyd in an interview following his victory, particularly because Floyd also wanted the match. Floyd has the chance to fight me for some fantastic money and with one of the greatest of all time if he wants to. I'm in, then.
Like I am now.
How do you beat Floyd, though? Like, since nobody's been able to crack that code.
You think I would tell you?
He ain't fighting anymore. So that fight ain't gonna happen.
Crawford was questioned about boxing fans' desire for him to face Floyd in an interview following his victory, particularly because Floyd also wanted the match. Floyd has the chance to fight me for some fantastic money and with one of the greatest of all time if he wants to. I'm in, then.
When I looked at it, he came out in the southpaw stance and he took Canelo's jab away from him. As you know, if you take a fighter's jab away from them, then it's hard for them to really land. You force them to use one shot, and he forced them to use his backhand, his rear hand. Crawford was ready for the looping of the right hand.
Mosley made the outrageous claim in an interview with Fight Hub TV that he thinks Bud Crawford is truly superior to Mayweather, but he did commend his previous opponent, whom he claims was extremely gifted. Crawford is larger, better, and seems to be moving up in weight class. In my opinion, he is also a better boxer overall. But Mayweather is also really good. He cannot be knocked down as well. He has a lot of talent. Although it would have been a difficult battle, I believe Crawford would have prevailed over Mayweather due to his longer arms and larger frame.
Do you think's better out of those two? Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter.
After defeating Canelo, Bud has already sparked a debate among fans and experts worldwide about whether he is the greatest fighter of all time. The 37-year-old has once again risen to the top of the pound-for-pound list after this historic triumph. Canelo, on the other hand, had stated as much prior to the fight, but he reiterated his position after losing and asserted that Crawford was superior. When Canelo Alvarez said that Terence Crawford is a better boxer than Floyd Mayweather in his post-fight news conference, it caused a stir. During the press conference following the bout, Canelo stated, "I believe Crawford is far superior to Floyd Mayweather."
If you can compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Bud Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
This statement is especially significant because it was made by someone who lost to both Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. Canelo's readiness to make such a daring assertion right after losing demonstrates either exceptional sportsmanship or sincere faith in Crawford's superiority. The boxing community was immediately rocked by the Mexican superstar's remarks. While some defended Mayweather's flawless record and stellar credentials, others cited Crawford's readiness to compete at a higher level and move up several weight classes. According to Terence Crawford, Alvarez has sparred with both him and Mayweather. He claimed that Crawford was superior. This resulted from his own experience. He said this while speaking on the Ariel Helwani show. "We were both in the ring with Canelo. He has actually been in the ring with both of us, regardless of what others claim."
You know, how did that feel to hear that from someone like him?
I just was like, well, you know, it's his personal opinion. He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, you know, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. You know, one where he felt like he was at the best.
He was ready for the body shots. You know, occasionally the straight right hand to the body would land for Canelo. But, you know, sooner or later, Crawford started getting out of the way of that as well by just pivoting on the angle and, making Canelo reach. There were spots inside the ring that I saw Crawford, try to.
Since this is a subjective opinion, the discussion will ultimately continue. The goal is for both of these fighters to remain unbeaten, at least for the time being. In Crawford's case, they were seasoned champions in multiple weight classes and will be remembered as two of the finest American boxers in sweet science history. But there's a fascinating argument to be had on how Mayweather and Crawford achieved their separate winning streaks. Ryan Garcia, a current boxer, made this claim in an episode of Ring Magazine's Inside the Ring show on September 10th.
And another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, I don't know, I don't go off of that. Floyd is the best fighter, in his era.
Given Crawford's recent achievements, some people are seriously doubting that hierarchy. And as Crawford hits the pinnacle of his abilities while still actively competing at the highest level, the time couldn't be more ideal for these conversations. Max Kellerman discussed the Crawford versus Mayweather discussion on his show, Inside the Ring, drawing on his decades of experience as a boxing analyst. The seasoned analyst admitted that Mayweather has some advantages over Crawford, especially when it comes to hand speed, defensive prowess, and resume depth. Unquestionably, Mayweather's technical prowess made him one of the most dominant boxing champions in history.
Changed the game like Floyd Mayweather.
He mastered the art of knowing when to fight somebody and when not to fight somebody. I mean, he's the best in that game. He's the best in, making money and making all the, the huge fights happen. But why? Because he was timing every single one of them. He never fought nobody really in their prime. He always
after junior lightweight. Junior lightweight.
He changed the game in the worst way possible. You're right. Everybody's trying to protect their own. I had
a lot of the stuff that Canelo was doing, and that I would say this, that worked from Boots helped in that aspect because Canelo was reacting to a lot of the counters that Crawford was throwing. Usually in the past, Canelo would stand right there. He would lunge and he would stay in place, keep his feet in place. However,
but Kellerman noted that after leaving the lightweight class, Mayweather started to pick his opponents more carefully. He thought he timed his encounters with several dangerous combatants well. Mayweather's undefeated record was maintained thanks to this calculated move, but it also raised concerns about his readiness to take on anyone in their prime. Kellerman compared this to Crawford's seeming willingness to take on anyone over his career, implying that boxing fans and other fighters react differently to this mindset.
It's wild, because if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight.
Floyd's resume is far more extensive than Crawford's. Additionally, Floyd had a superior defense, was quicker, and so forth. He was cautious about when he engaged in combat with men after leaving lightweight. As we all saw, Crawford wanted it with everyone the entire time, despite the resume's shortcomings. For people, that makes a difference. The analyst made intriguing analogies between Crawford and renowned boxers like Roy Jones Jr. and Sugar Ray Robinson. According to Kellerman, Crawford has attained a comparable degree of esteem from his colleagues. This is an example of a status that goes beyond statistical comparisons and record books.
Then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with...
Bud refused to deny the 50-time boxing champion his due recognition, even though boxing fans have frequently made analogies between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford expressed his admiration for Floyd Mayweather and added a few more remarks in response to a question concerning their similarities. He is the monarch. Crawford recognized and commended Floyd's excellence. He went on, "We're a little different because I take more chances, but we have a lot in common in other ways." In the beginning of his profession, he was also taking many chances. Depending on which Floyd Mayweather you're referring to, it just depends. You're either discussing money or the attractive boy, because the latter was the one who was looking to destroy. After that, he began to sustain hand injuries. Therefore, he was moving up and battling bigger since he couldn't really keep up with the same power.
do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
Yes,
fight.
sir. I
Floyd
love you, Terrence.
always figures it out.
Yeah.
As Crawford mentioned, they share a lot of similarities. To determine whether fighter is superior, boxing supporters and fans have contrasted the two. And when they did, a fresh source predicted that Crawford would prevail in a duel between the two combatants. You would be hard-pressed to find a more talented boxer who produces more amazing science mastercourses than Floyd Mayweather Jr. Mayweather's sharp jab, timing, accuracy, and counterpunching skills allowed him to dissect his extensive opponent list. Additionally, he performed it over 2 versions of himself. As Crawford stated, Money Mayweather would later calculate and outbox opponents with outstanding boxing, but Pretty Boy Floyd was the more aggressive fighter who brought the fight to them. Regardless of your preferred style, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is a legend thanks to both bodies of work. In contrast, boxing fans continue to marvel at what Crawford did to Spence during his most recent bout.
Chances,
Excuse me, Crawford.
you know, right now, but earlier in his career, he was taking a lot of chances as well. So, you know, it just depends on which Floyd Mayweather you talk about. You talk about money, or do you talk about Pretty Boy? Because Pretty Boy was the seek and destroy.
Bud had exceptional boxing skill, whether it was through the timing of his counterpunches, punching in traffic, or a power jab that frequently broke through Spence's defense. We've never witnessed it like that against a fighter of Spence's caliber, albeit
He's going to reach on the left hooks again. And the lightning hand speed extraordinary. Left hook drops him. And then he hit his head off the Gomez here at the engine.
it wasn't the first time. It's arguable that no one should be given an advantage above Mayweather when it comes to sheer boxing skill. Crawford, however, has a unique boxing style that is effective and even explosive in its own way. If Crawford faced Mayweather in his peak and used his lasering shots against his methodical, beautiful science, how would their boxing compare? Who would make the initial...
He drops him again. That's a hard knockdown that time with the left hook. How about that? Keeps battling, falling forward. Uppercut. Terence Crawford has stopped Yuri.
jab. Who could counterpunch more successfully? There are numerous ways to observe this play out that it might be best to declare this category a draw. How many times have we seen Mayweather idle before luring his rivals to the center of the ring, where he calculated data, examined it, and uploaded a blueprint to dissect them? As an unbeaten 5-division world champion, Mayweather effectively rode his ring IQ and motto of hit and don't get hit to the Hall of Fame. Crawford has demonstrated a strong ring IQ throughout his career, winning the junior welterweight title without a fight.
I truly don't know the answer.
I do. You do? Yes. Yes, sir. I love you, Terrence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah.
Mayweather showed off his hand quickness, particularly when counterpunching. Bud has the speed advantage, though, because to Crawford's cutting angles and slapping delivery. 27 of Mayweather's 50 victories were knockouts. That is in contrast to Crawford, who is still fighting and has 40 victories, 31 of which were via knockout. Enter Crawford's magic again, felling Spence 3 times on way to a commanding TKO in the 9th round.
When you hook, you want to change you want to hook from the hips. So when you hook, boom, this toe gonna go up and this one gonna go down. So you hear and it's gonna go boom. So you can do a 45 or you can do straight. Come straight from the shoulders, boom. Open it up a little bit, bam. Get that, there you go. Yeah, so you want to come, everything you do, you want to come from the shoulders, boom, just turn it. When you coming in there, you hear, boom, and that's where that torque gonna come from. The hips, your legs, all the way up in there.
To view more recent boxing updates, like, subscribe, and click the bell icon.